Right, guys, welcome back. This is the Above Average FPL podcast. My name's Adam, and I'm here as always with Baker. How are you this evening, mate?
Good.
Yeah?
Good. I don't want to say refreshed because there's only like 4 games and stuff like that, but God, I've done so many jobs. I'm so much more productive when there's not a lot of football on. I've done so many jobs. But yeah, now we've got 2 weeks or whatever it is of nothingness.
It's all right. Just let you dive into some research, and then we can maybe come up with something in the international break.
We'll do something, mate. We'll do something.
Good stuff.
Yeah. All good?
Myself? Yeah, good. Yeah, I mean, same as you, to be honest. I spent more of my weekend doing non-football related stuff than football related stuff, and most of it revolved around shipping my daughter around here, there, and everywhere. So, but she was in a gymnastics competition yesterday, so she did all right. Posted a little something on Twitter, got some appreciation from that. I mean, that wasn't the idea, but it's, she did all right. She enjoyed it, so that was all good.
We all use the children for likes, mate. It's just the way it is.
It's just the way it is.
It's the way it is.
Yeah.
Talking of using children for likes.
Oh, it's a great segue. Great segue, Baker.
Yeah. So we have got on this evening, we have got Andy Martin. He is the FPL Tactician. How are you this evening, mate?
I am very well. Yeah, thanks for having me on. It's a pleasure to be here, guys. So really looking forward to it.
Congratulations on your new unclehood. What do we call it?
Yeah, unclehood, nephewness. Yeah, it's been a bonkers weekend. I think, obviously with the Leeds win Friday night, and also first time to be an uncle this weekend as well. So yeah, it's been nice to not have as much football as normal because I can enjoy family time, and holding my nephew yesterday afternoon was brilliant.
You didn't feed him any porridge, did you?
It will come. I'll give it a few weeks and I'll give him something. Yeah,
nice.
That's fine.
We're going for Joffrey, Patrick, Rafinha.
I wish. Unfortunately, not. No. Arthur, lovely name.
Arthur,
classic.
Yeah, famous Leeds Arthurs.
Not that I can think of offhand. No.
So
Arthur John though. John Charles. So.
Oh well, gentle.
No idea who that is at all.
You don't know who John Charles is?
No.
One of the all-time greatest footballers, honestly. Probably the best footballer in the 1950s.
Yeah. No.
Maniac. Gentle. A gentle maniac.
Yeah.
No idea. Should we move on?
You move on. recent times.
Yeah, man. So, okay. So just a quick admin pod plug, I guess. Make sure you follow us all on Twitter. So the podcast is at Above Average FPL. Baker is at Baker FPL 343, and Andy is at FPL_Tactician. The podcast is available on Apple, Spotify, Google, wherever you get your podcasts from. We're also on YouTube, youtube.com/Above Average FPL. Whether you're watching or whether you're listening, make sure you subscribe to the podcast. You'll get the latest episode direct to your device, and we always put a tweet out on the Sunday evening to let you know that it's there. If you're watching on YouTube, please do hit that like button. It does help us, and it helps the YouTube algorithm, spread our content to more and more people, which would be really appreciated. As always, the podcast is supported by a good friend of ours that is at CryptoBlockDan on Twitter. If you're interested in anything to do with in the crypto space, then drop him a follow, send him a DM, ask him some questions, and hopefully you'll learn a bit more.
Good. 1K subscribers, mate, on the old YouTube.
Oh yeah, we should probably mention that. 1K subscribers. So yeah, just cheeky little microphone upgrades as well. So hopefully the sound is a lot clearer this week than it has been in previous weeks.
Yeah, good.
I'm hoping so.
Good,
anyway.
Good. Hope so. We
did a little bit of a test.
We did a little test.
Yeah, we're good.
We're good.
Cool. So on to this game week 30. So where do we want to start? Optimized?
Oh, we can do. You going first?
I'll go first. Yeah, I'll go first because mine's kind of calm. It's good, but it's kind of calm. So yeah, in my team, I had, I decided to make the move of Dennis Brozier to Tony in the end. So, little discussion that we had on Friday was that, Darren England likes to give penalties, but to away teams, but he didn't give a penalty this week, unfortunately. But 2 points is a haul this week, so that's something, I guess. And I ended up with, what did I have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 players. So, and 52 points. I was expected to actually drop versus the top 100k, and the Leeds Wolves game, that Wolves clean sheet wipeout was beautiful, and the more and more they conceded, the better and better it was for me. And then obviously, Ramsdale really helped, from an Arsenal Villa point of view. And then Son actually just done me dirty today, funnily enough. But Kane did all right. So,
You still enjoyed it, mate. You still enjoyed it.
mate, really enjoyed it. So, I was expected to be 5 points behind the top 100k average, and I ended up 0.1 of a point ahead of it, which means that at 220k, it's a grey arrow. Like I went up like 1,500 places.
Take it, mate. Move on.
I'll take it. It's been a tough 5 weeks. It's been a really tough 5 weeks. Starting with a bad decision. I'll accept that now. A bad decision with the Trent triple captain, and then just surviving through 27 to 30. 27 went well. 28, 29 went bad, and 30's gone okay. So yeah, relatively happy. Sitting at 220k. I could be better, but that's where I am now.
Look forward, mate. Look forward.
Andy, move to you.
Yeah, can do. Yeah, I've had a decent week for a change. So yeah. My decision on Friday was I was going to make one transfer out. It was Digne, who was injured, and I actually found it quite tough to pick a defender, like which one to go with. I was thinking every team could score. I don't really fancy clean sheets on any of them, but I did the Digne to Tierney move. It's my one transfer, which did okay. 6 points from Tierney was big. Arsenal the only team getting the clean sheets. That was a nice decision. Could have gone White for the extra point. It was considered, but I also considered Cody. Also considered a Leicester defender, so I can't complain with Tierney 6 points.
Yeah.
And then after Friday night it was a -1. Jimenez red card. Rafinha didn't show up. 8-0, he got a point. So Friday night wasn't too good apart from the result. So I didn't really care about FPL points after that result. So honestly, FPL Friday was just like, forget that. Don't really care. And a 17 going into the Spurs game earlier. So owning Son and Kane, captaining Kane, shot right up. I mean, you can see from that graph there. I mean, it's crazy what Son and Kane can do. And today is one of those days where they combined for all the goals and finished on 60 points. Green arrow, 4k green. So I've gone from 28 to 24k. And during this period, I've got red arrows. I expected red arrows because I wasn't playing chips. So only one real killer game week, which is 28, where I was 5k going into it and finished on 19k after it. So even though it's a big red that week, apart from that, I've got red arrows, but they haven't felt as big as that week. Yeah. And now that I've got 24k at this break with wildcard, free hit and triple captain left, I'm confident about shooting back up again. So here's some more green arrows.
Feels big having those chips in hand. It does feel big.
Is there any regrets on that, or like at all about not pushing?
Slightly there is. I think it's the outcome rather than the foresight of it. So I, even from like way back in 22, I was considering going without any chips in this period, and I thought I was quite well set up. Even though I knew I was going to get red arrows, but I thought I could come back later in the season because my team was okay during this period and I had a plan up to 30. And as I say, apart from game week 28, it's pretty much gone as expected. So I'm happy to be in this position, and I don't really regret it. I regret perhaps not attacking 28 as much as others did. I think I could have taken more hits to get more points that week. But I'm someone that doesn't like taking more than a -8. And I've seen people do -16s, -20s, and it's been heavily rewarded because the players they brought in absolutely smashed it. But I just never felt that confident doing it. So, and I never do. Had the plan in place. Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah, I mean, just talking on the hits. I mean, just a shout out to Raptor for what he did. If you look at what he did in 26, he took a 20-point hit, and it gave him a 30-point benefit. Like, so it swung 50 points. Amazing. Then in 28, he took an 8-point hit and had plus 32 from that transfer. And then in 29, he went at -12 and then had plus 18. So he's taken 40 points in hits in 3 game weeks across that 5 game week period. And he's come out plus 80, which is
Yeah.
just
Big.
ridiculous. I've never seen anybody. I've never seen anybody take that many hits over such a short period of time and be so successful with it.
We've never had 3 weeks like that though, either. We've never had a 26, 28, 29.
I guess, yeah.
So I know it's but it's like you almost, if you didn't do it, then it would have, if you hadn't have done it, then yes, it absolutely would have hurt. But the kind of outcome piece is potentially and why, hits were able to be done is that we don't often get a place where we have like 6 doubles, 4 doubles, 4 doubles, or whatever it was, so it does make it, but
yeah, that for me, something to take away from this season is, was I too passive? Like the doubles were there, the good fixtures for like Chelsea were there, and I just didn't do anything about it. I was just like, okay, stick to the plan. You've got a plan up to 30. Ignore Chelsea; they can't hate you too much. When really, it's Norwich and Burnley at home, or no, Burnley away, I think, wasn't it? But they're 2 outstanding fixtures that could really damage you. And yeah, perhaps it is just best to hit them in and hit them out.
Yeah,
for so many, it would have been really beneficial.
Cool.
On to you, mate.
Yeah, kind of opposite way around, where I've used a lot of chips. I didn't use any chips this week, but I don't regret it at all. What I've done, and rank looks good, and everything is in a really good space. But every week on FPL optimized, I'm below what I should have got effectively, but what we're told to, and sometimes it just makes you say is a little bit of, Andy finished 8 above based on Son and Kane going off, and you're like, well, that isn't variance. That just was a good opportunity at home, and they're very intrinsically linked players, and you own them both. This was just a roller coaster. I feel upset that I went in with 11 players without a hit, and I thought to myself, what if you can't get a green arrow going in with 11 players without a hit this week? Then, and I've got some good players. The only one really was Son, and Leicester midfielders. That was it. But Jimenez, Wolves defence, Rafinha, Ramsdale, all of those ones, just a lot of pain, really. So to not get any gains out of it, hey, I was never looking to get that much gains out of it. And the top 1K, mate, they're so engaged. Like we say it all the time, but they don't miss. They don't miss, and it's it's harsh. 52 points feels like an all right week this week, and red arrow. Wow.
What can you say?
Harsh. What can you say other than it's going to be really, really interesting when you get 5-6 weeks down the line, because a lot of them have now used the wild cards, haven't they? A lot of them use chips, and you have to remember that as well. For the good week is you're fighting a chip week, and that's been the case that everyone. It's the first time I've had to face a chip week, isn't it? Like I've literally done 4 chips in a row, so this is a week where I've had to actually face into a chip week, and you're like, oh, it's not quite as easy when I haven't got millions of players and chips in play. Weird.
Yeah, strange.
Have you still got 8 more weeks of fighting that chip? The chips.
Got one more chip. I've got one more free hit. So, yeah. But it's going to be fighting, isn't it?
Yeah.
It is.
Talking of chips.
Yeah, so what do we have? 13% more free hitters used up?
So, yeah, roughly. So almost 10% used their second free hit, and 384, so 3.84% of the top 10K used their first. So they've still got one in the bank, those 384 managers. I mean, what's interesting is that 70, 80, 90, almost 90% now of managers have got 2 chips or less left. So there's not much to fight against in the top 10K. Actually, most people are on a pretty level playing field. If you do have that third chip like Andy does, then you are obviously at an advantage. But again, you're going to need the outcome to match what's come through between 26 and 30. But there's no reason. There's nothing saying that won't happen. There are still good doubles out there. There's opportunities out there, and having something like a wild card, and there's still 1,600 managers with a wild card left, which is quite a lot, I think.
Yeah.
out of
I
everything.
think you can move pretty quickly, through it. It's going to be interesting, those ones like myself who've just inside the top 1K. I'm 43 points away from being 5K. So despite I'm only... So there's 40 points between 1K and 5K. Quite a big gap. But then there's only 50 points, say, between 5K and 25K. So you could easily, at the moment, 25 to 5K is something that you could probably bridge relatively simply. There's only 32 points between 25K and 10K, and actually the gaps are about 35K between each of the ones below, 35 points between each of the, 25K to 50K, 50K to 100K, for example. The gaps are pretty slow, but that top 1K have pushed themselves a fair amount now, and now it's can you hold?
Are you looking to be top 5K? Is that the target, or are you still looking to be top 1K?
I genuinely, I know a lot of people say the targets, but I don't, because I haven't got that history to be able to say it and say that's where I feel like I need to be. But I don't also feel like it's that season where you can almost say where things can happen, because there've been so many just explosive things. So I am a literal cliche man here, but literally going, just get through that one, get through that one, get through that one. I'd love it. If I was top 5K, mate, I would love it. I know everyone should say, oh, you're in like top 1K, you should push for like double figures or something like that. Top 5K, mate, I'll be over the moon.
Yeah. So, I mean, top 5K, do you think you'd be defensive then rather than offensive?
I try to
like covering things so you get that.
He does that naturally
week.
Anyway.
I am naturally in that way, but I think is what I've done all season is, I wouldn't call it defensive. What I've tried to do is maximize opportunity, which is I've always tried to see how many, if there's doubles, I want to just get as many as I can in. And I'm okay to take extra hits or do stuff. So even like this free hit, I couldn't help myself. I was like, I want 11 players. Just feel like it gives myself the best opportunity. And if I need to take a few hits to get out of it, I'll do it, and work through it. So it's kind of a strange way of attacking it, probably in a way, but because you couldn't call anyone who's trying to get 11 players being defensive, because you've got to work to get there.
Sure. Yeah.
Same, we get to 32, 33. I want to have, even this week, 31. I'll be like, Everton, Burnley. I don't like the idea of not having a piece of it. I'll get myself some piece of it. Just got to try and keep playing the numbers, isn't it?
I just can't. I don't think I can even think about going there.
Oh, I'm absolutely will. There's no chance on earth that I will not have somebody from either of those teams.
I've got Nick Pope still. He's coming on strong again. Like he's done me well in the doubles previously, and
yeah.
Easy
well, he can get 19, 20 pointers. Easy.
Yeah, but not against City. He can't. I mean, you're not going to get 19 points in 1 week, in one game.
No, but you can get 2 or 3 against City, and then double-digit return against Everton. Right?
9 saves. Is that what you're counting on? 9 saves for 3 points.
No, 3-0, 3-0 City, and then a lot of saves from Pope. Yeah, that'll do.
I'll work it out later at the time, but I'll definitely want some of it, mate. No chance, because it's been what I've done all season, so therefore I don't see a reason why I would change that kind of style of playing now. Is you'd feel really bad if you got to 1K playing that way and then you don't get to the end of the season play that way. That's just not for me. I want to try and keep playing the same approach, and if anything, dial it up rather than dial it down.
Yeah, well, I mean, it was a good week for free hitters in the end this week, wasn't it? It was, no surprises, and most people, all the players that we almost expected to bang did bang. I think it was basically just Lacazette and Tony that didn't, and I think everyone was looking at this week, as you said. I think Andy, when you were talking about your transfers, I mean, trying to pick a game where there was going to be a clean sheet was a big challenge, and when I was discussing a team with someone else and trying to help them with a free hit, I said to him, do you want to gamble? And I said, the gamble is probably going to be like, I was like, triple Wolves. I mean, that's where could be good to go. And until the 55th minute or whatever it was, it looked like it was going to be working out quite nicely.
Oh, completely. I mean, that first half was ridiculous. I was worried about the Wolves defenders hauling again.
Yeah. So, I mean, it was a week where I think picking one one team for the clean sheet was a good one. And, as I say, Son, Kane, Maddison, Barnes, Saka, they all did it. All of them.
Yeah, I think that's the thing is if you, because of the controversy around Rafinha, is he playing, is he not playing? If you're on free hit, you didn't go there. So you took away that danger. And then you didn't have a hit. So you already were above everybody else. Then you definitely had Son and Kane. So you were then ahead of most players just in that piece. And you definitely had a Leeds midfielder, a Liverpool, Leicester midfielder, get the right L. So you just couldn't do badly, I don't think, on a free hit this week. It was always going to be good. Look at you on the screen there.
72.17 points. Average in the top 10K. It's monster.
It's big. Big.
For free hitters.
For free hitters, yeah. That's the average. I mean, at the time of recording live FPL, sorry, Raga, didn't have the non-chip average at the time of recording, but 72.17 for free hitters. I think it was like 58 points for wildcarders. Not that that's particularly relevant. I think that was 10 managers, but yeah, big numbers.
Big. Wildcard then, Andy. You've got wildcard, haven't you?
I have indeed, yeah. Held on to the wildcard. I thought about 31 previously because I've played my bench boost in 26. I felt playing the wildcard slightly earlier than most who've still got it maximises the points from 31 to 38 because I can just put all the money into my first 11. But then the fact that Burnley double, I've still got Pope. The fact that my game week 30 team goes quite nicely to 31. I think it's the wrong time to play it in 31. And it's then whether I wildcard of 32 or 34. Because I'm probably free hitting in 33. 32. To try and maximise that one.
32 is a little difficult with the City Liverpool one as well, isn't it?
Yeah, it is a bit. But then wildcard 34, it feels slightly late as well, unfortunately. I know you still got 5 game weeks. But
is it though? So look at 26 to 30 feels like an eternity.
True.
It feels
and the games, the amount of games between 34 and 38 as well. Yeah. It's almost like another game week on top of what we got.
That's it. Like we can also look at what happened 26 to 30 for most of us, but we got that again 34 to 38.
Yeah.
I don't think it's late at all. I for me, if I was anyone, I'd be on there. And especially if you're someone like yourself who's got that Son and Kane situation where you've got both.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You've got Newcastle next up, and you're like, are any of us going to go there? And you tweeted about it.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's too hard for people that aren't on it. Like, so people got Robertson and Trent, which a lot of wildcarders have gone that way. It's so awkward to then jump up to Son or Kane from where they are. You're talking 3 transfers. So to have Son and Kane and Salah, for me, I think is a big advantage going into 31. A lot have got 2 out of the 3, but not many have got 3 out of 3, especially those that are wildcarded. So, yeah, I've got to hope that Son and Kane do the damage again against Newcastle. I think because that would be another good game week if that happens. So,
yeah, I think those that have brought Son in, that they can't take him out for 31.
No,
but
you've got 2 out of 3, right? You've got Kane and Salah.
Yeah, we've both got Son, Kane and Salah.
Yeah,
and as much as I've looked at Son, like we did our Tottenham pod, and there was low. We felt like we had to do it because actually there was loads of people saying jump off Son, just jump straight to Kane, and it was like that's not what we're seeing. We're still seeing a bloke playing striker. That people are suddenly starting to see in a creator. When it was just like, well, no, it's just Kane's playing really, really well. But at some point that was going to happen today. At some point there was going to be a 40-pointer. We've seen it so many times. Like it's not luck. Like they did it 4 or 5 times last season.
It was so good to see Son back on it today as well. He was the old Son again.
He had the chances. He could have had more. The own goal should have put away. He had a big chance straight after. Should have put away. Should have easily walked away with a hat trick today. And Kane should have scored more.
Yeah.
So is those that own one or the other actually in a strange way got lucky. Both. I don't think I can get there, and that's the one thing I'd definitely say. If I was holding wildcard at 34, I mean, I've said it many, many times over the last few weeks. I definitely would have gone there already by now and gone and brought them both in. I still think I'd probably push it and have them all the way up to a time where it looks like it's bad. And I do think what you've also got, if you've got Son and Kane in 33, you've got that Bruno option as well if you don't want a free hit. You know, fixtures suddenly look like 37 might be a good option for free hit. Even 38, so obviously always a good option for free hit in that you could have some fun if, you know, especially if you're looking at doing stuff like bench boosting in 36 for those that are, you know, and then really trying to set themselves up for that 36, 37 games. Because you could have, say, like the likes of Chelsea, Everton, Leicester could double up in 36 and 37 on the fixtures. Then you're stuck with a load of them. And what if you get a load of leaks and it doesn't look too good? Then you're like, oh, I could free hit out on 38. Like, if you've got Son, you've got a lot of places you could go to for a bit of fun.
So would you say wait for the free hit until right at the end, pretty much? Either 37 or 38?
I don't know about that 33 hit. I don't know about it. But I'm
you
still...
you got the free hit, haven't you? So, but the fact you haven't got any more chips is probably just go 36 for yourself.
Yeah, but I think we'll get a few points. Like, things seem to have just put people down certain paths, don't they, at certain places this season. Like, you know, is the Trent injury could end up pushing us somewhere. You know, the Ramsdale injury could end up pushing people into different places. This sort of Son thing could push people into places. Like, I feel like we've all sort of snaked around in certain things, but there's been some clues if you waited around long enough. Even those that were thinking, oh, I wouldn't mind a Leicester asset in, suddenly they get that great excuse that Rafinha might be out and they've gone, oh, I'll jump on Maddison or I'll jump on Barnes, and it's worked. So the clues have been there.
Yeah, I mean, I felt that in the last, say, 5 or 6 weeks. I was someone that didn't own Bowen. So that hurt me, like 2021, around about that period. And people that held Bowen, I just had this easy switch to Kiliesny. And just straight switch, it's just become so clear and everyone's done it. And I wasn't on that path. So for me, it was like, now Kulu's just taken over for Bowen. Like, killer.
Yeah.
So this week is the one that's really helped, where Kulu has blanked and Son's gone off, because the funds you spend on Son and Kane, you need them to go off.
Yeah.
As premium assets.
Yeah.
Otherwise you just get left behind because you haven't got the money spent elsewhere on different assets. So
I think the other thing is, if you try and get that third one in, a lot of people are taking Cancelo out. The majority of the game are taking Cancelo out.
Yeah.
So quarter of the top 10k own Cancelo, a third of them own Robertson. Now, those that do probably find it difficult to get to Son. Those that don't, you get Son in, you don't get Cancelo, you don't get Robbo, you don't get James, you know.
Yeah.
You don't potentially get a City midfielder because you're stuck on the 6 million lots. You know, you don't get De Bruyne at some point.
No. That's basically where I am at the moment. My midfield is stuck full of mid-priced, cheapish options. I mean, I'm looking at Rafinha, Kulusevski, Saka, Martinelli. Right, none of those are more than 6.5 million. Saka 6.6 now.
But they're doing well.
They are doing well. So there is that, but it's a case of like, do I move to can I get? Oh, I can't get to Son, which is okay. But again, I mean, I'm in that double City defense place.
Yeah, exactly.
At the moment as well. So, I mean, you might say that, you know, my rank is a result of me not moving around quick enough with some of the doubles. Maybe the same way that you saw Red over the last few weeks, Andy. But I mean, I think I backed myself into a corner by, you know, wildcarding quite early, you know, in like 21, 22, whenever it was, when, you know, I tried to take opportunity from Everton doubles and Burnley doubles coming up, and what I should have been focusing on were like the Liverpool doubles and the Chelsea doubles, right? And that's where I think something that we've all learned as well. I mean, if you look at like Game Week 23 with the Dennis King scenario, I think, you know, a lot of us have been talking about, you know, wanting to get on doubles and our doubles are trap and all this sort of stuff. I think what we found is actually that when you play players from the bad teams in the doubles, generally it doesn't work. And what happens when you pick the good players from the doubles, generally it works. And the silly thing is, it sounds so obvious, doesn't it?
It does, doesn't it?
Just when you say it out loud, it just sounds so obvious, and yet we all still go there, and we all still do
captain
the same
Dennis,
stupid shit.
Yeah.
And, and I do stupid shit, like I benched Brownhill in 26 when he had a double and he popped off with 17 points or whatever. I mean, I brought in these Burnley players for their doubles and I didn't play them when they had them. I mean, that's probably a failure upon my part as well. But
I still might captain Gordon in 31. I still might.
Still might. Let's just keep on that then. So if you're not free hitting in 33 now, have you got the fixtures? We got Lego Manes.
Yeah, I got the fixtures here.
So if we look at 33 now and look at the doublers, so what we got? Leicester, Arsenal.
United, Arsenal, Newcastle, Southampton, Brighton, Burnley.
Okay.
I think that Newcastle double's all right, to be honest. 2 home games.
Dubravka,
that's the one that stands.
Captain?
Yeah. Well, not captain, but maybe as like an upside free hit, why not double or triple defence Newcastle?
It's going to be an interesting one on Dubravka and Ramsdale again. There's a lot of owners who've got both. I've got both. Leicester and Palace home games. Leicester and Palace, they score goals.
Yeah.
So they're not late. And if they keep a clean against Southampton, if Arsenal keep a clean against Southampton or Chelsea, you just know Ramsdale gets bonus.
Yeah, true.
So that's a tough decision, that one. I'm not looking forward to that decision. If somehow Mahrez is out for a little bit longer, hopefully he's all right. But if he is out a bit longer, not wishing an injury on an Arsenal player at all. That's not me. But yeah, if that decision was made a bit easier somehow, it would be nice, because that's going to be a really big decision. I noticed in 29, it was something like 80% of the game had either Dubravka or Ramsdale. And it was a bit more evenly split than I thought it would be. So it's going to be at least that sort of number again. But they're the standout probably keepers on it. But captain's
tough. Yeah, no, captain's tough on that one.
Because if you're talking the good teams in doubles do well, Bruno?
Potentially Bruno.
I mean, it's Norwich at home, isn't it? So
you're picking the single game week there, really, aren't you?
And the appearance, yeah. Single game week plus the appearance.
Is Saka now considered to be a captain option?
I don't see why not. But again, he's got that Chelsea fixture again, so, and it's away. So would you consider that again, decent fixture plus appearance points? And Southampton aren't Norwich. So I wouldn't look at Arsenal for a captaincy pick, personally.
Every single one of these doubles, we've had a captain that's been 150 owned. Every single one. Like, we get somebody that is huge owned. I mean, some of them have been, obviously the Salah ones is even bigger, but everyone runs to him. Even the free hit weeks, the Kane, the Weghorst and those ones, is we're having lots of 150 owned captains. You look at this one and go, who is it going to be? Ramsdale.
I don't think we'll get that in 31 or 33. I think we'll be splitting captains.
Yeah. Well, I think the 31 won't, because Liverpool got Watford, and if we get anything that suggests that Salah's playing, everyone just, it's going to be, but there'll still be a few that's going to go Weghorst. It's going to happen. You might even get the odd DCL. Oh God.
Surely not. Surely not. They got battered today as well.
I'm thinking Kane for 31 personally, at home to Newcastle.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many good single game week players there that I think double captain probably will be avoided.
I think Salah's just going to be so overwhelmingly captained in 31. I really do.
I just think 90 minutes of Kane. You just know it's 90 minutes of Kane. And I don't think it's 90 minutes of Salah at all.
Do you think people will go Kane to Ronaldo? Because that's the easier move.
In 33?
Mm.
Yeah, I can see that.
That could be a big captain, couldn't it?
It's an easy move for those Kane owners, right?
Yeah. That probably is a biggie. But Brighton at home, it's not a bad fixture, is it? Okay.
Not at all. Not at all.
Effectively, when you say it's a one fixture,
there's enough doubles there for me not to captain a single game week in 33. Though I can't see me captain a single game week.
Would you hokey cokey Kane then with Ronaldo, for example? Because are you going to get rid of him before Brentford and then his favourite club to score against? I mean,
well, I'll be wildcard in 34 personally, but
you'll be fine then.
That's what I'm saying. I reckon those wildcarders might just go. I think a lot of them will just go Kane to Ronaldo and captain,
and then chuck him back in. Potentially.
And there's some that's what I'm saying. If I was now and I had wildcard in hand, I would just Kane and Son. I'd try and find a way to do it, and then go straight Bruno and Ronaldo and hope for the best. There's going to be a lot to it. It's going to be very interesting to keep an eye on what the soundings are. We just don't know a little bit on that Bruno Ronaldo thing and who's top dog and who's not. Kind of want to see him play well in the same shirt. But yeah, it's going to be fun. And then you look at how many European games, when you look at this Lego Mane thing, is so between 31 and 32, you've got European games for everyone.
I mean, Andy mentioned like triple up on Newcastle potentially in a free hit on 33. They're going to come back from Eindhoven on the Thursday, having just busted a gut probably to, that's going to be a good tie, I think. And so, they will be knackered, right? They will be tired. So that Newcastle-Leicester game could be a good one for Newcastle. And with Newcastle needing, they need points on the board by the end of 30. They need to be completely safe by 34.
Yeah, look at those fixtures at the end.
Because if they come out the back of them, I mean, it's not going to be the best thing for YouTube, but let's do it anyway. Screw it. Let's just chuck it out the back to 38. If you look out the back there, Liverpool, City, Arsenal, and then, away to Burnley. But
yeah, it's tough.
It's not easy.
Tough. Okay. Need to give that some thought over the next few weeks. I think we've got to start working through that plan and wait for the fixture boys to tell us the right thing to do. But for those that have played the wild card, we've got to start thinking about those game week 33 captains and plans to get through the 36. And it might just be easier. And that's why I look at it and think, is it easier to just free hit that 33 and just work through the players that I want in 31 that I'm going to want in 36? So Son and Kane, for example, if I wanted them, you could get them now because you want them again in 36. So you could try and get them into your plan, the free hit. Chelsea, just that. If you just imagine that 33 isn't there, Brentford, Southampton, West Ham, Everton, and then it's double in 36, probably double in 37. You could go now on a Kai. Havertz could easily bang against Brentford and Southampton. It's just whether he plays because you've got those Atletico Madrid games in between. It's bloody tough.
I look for those not on free hit 33. The Newcastle fixtures, Wolves at home in 32, then 2 home fixtures in 33 in the double, then Norwich away. I would like to triple up on Newcastle from 32. Really?
Who are you tripling up with, though? Really?
Shah?
Well, we did tip him.
Shah, Fraser?
It's just difficult.
And then
St. Maximin back?
Yeah.
Maybe the Bradford. Yeah.
If it gets you an extra premium, it's a good option, I think.
Yep.
Wood?
Yeah, Chris Wood. What other forwards are doing it?
It's true. What's the worst that can happen?
I mean, him and Esther Woods, all right?
Yeah, it's easy. It feels easy.
Cool.
You've got to move him now, haven't you?
Yeah,
no interest in keeping him now.
We've done a lot on fixtures and not on the games so far. How long have we been going? 45 minutes?
Yeah, something like that. I thought just for a little bit of humour as well, we just nip back to game week 30 and talk about a bit of bench wankery.
It's my favourite.
It's my favourite thing to do, and I completely forgot to do it this week.
I can't believe you didn't do it.
No,
I feel like you cursed him.
I'm gutted. I'm actually gutted I didn't do it. But, it doesn't always go right, does it? And this week was proof of it. So sorry to those guys I'm calling out. I'm putting your name out there. I don't really care. So early tweet driving shortly. Ramsdale and Martinelli on the bench on this first one. Oops.
But he got Doherty and Kulusevski off the bench, and they did
Nothing. Yeah.
Good
work.
Unlucky.
Oh, no, don't do that, Nathan Bacon, whatever his name is.
That's good. I liked
It is funny, but let's not go there. FPL binary. He's got Jimenez third on his bench. And
Beautiful.
Yeah. Oops.
Oopsie.
And then who we got? People thought I'm doing bench wankery. Certainly I wasn't. Yeah, Ramsdale, Martinelli.
Oh.
Sorry, Karam. And then the last one, bench wankery gone wrong. Jimenez first on the bench. Kilman and Rafinha.
Brilliant.
That's incredible.
So much pain.
Jimenez, Kilman.
But he had Son captain today, so he can't be too unhappy with that.
There's some though that as well. Like I know there's quite a few that have got like Sarr and Ramsdale, and I had a big decision. I bet those ones that went Ramsdale probably thought, yes, Friday night, like yes, I've got that. And they're like, in he comes. Mind you, 2 points to win this week.
2 points is a win. 2 points is a win.
What
Did he get two or was it one? One, I think, wasn't it?
Did he won?
Oh, Sarr must have been one.
Did he?
I don't think he got 3 saves, did he?
Didn't get 3 saves.
I think so.
Oh no, he let in his first 2 saves, didn't he? The entire match. Yeah.
So what are we on now? Games themselves?
I mean, we'll let the Leeds fan, shall we? Tell us about the Wolves Leeds game.
Mad game. Absolute mad, wasn't it? I mean, that first half was some of the worst football I've ever seen from us. I just didn't understand what we were trying to do. We couldn't pass the ball. We didn't have a shape. And we didn't even, like the start of the second half, we didn't even seem to look cohesive the second half when it started. Gary Neville was right at half time, just slating us, saying we had nothing. And then it seemed like this mad 5 minutes where we lumped the ball forward, get the ball into their box, and Wolves fell apart. It was more the fact that Wolves defenders fell apart with the clearances they made and scuffs and missing the balls. I mean, 8-0, we missed that ball, went through to Ayling.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean,
and then it just went off. I think the fact that we managed to score 2 in 5 minutes, and it was just a bit of a shell shock for Wolves, and they just didn't know what happened because they were so in control for that first hour.
But if you don't score, like we had Nuno, at Tottenham, and that was how we always felt, was that even if we were 1-0 up, you were like, we're not doing enough here to justify it, really. And at some point, every Premier League team gets a chance. At some point, it happens. And if you don't put enough on the numbers on the board, it's just going to hurt you. And Jimenez.
But yeah, I want to bring it up because I mean the Jimenez red card. People are saying it's the worst decision they've ever seen and stuff like that. And you watch it back in real time, and where Kevin Friend is, I can see why he gave a second yellow. I mean, perhaps it's bias talking, but you watch it again in real time where Kevin Friend is. Imagine you've still where Kevin Friend is, and you see Jimenez clatter Meslier. I know it's like he's tried to come out of it, and it's accidental collision. When you see the replay, yeah, it's not a yellow card, but in real time, it looks nasty for Meslier. The way he lands as well, I can see where Kevin Friend booked Jimenez. I don't think it's an injustice they got sent off.
It's horrible. It feels horrible that it happened. I do think there is a piece that when they slowed it right down, when Jimenez was about 5 yards away, Meslier was about 10 yards away.
Yeah.
And Meslier wanted it more. And when the player that wants it more connects with the ball, despite the fact that I actually think, if anything, he cleaned out Jimenez rather than Jimenez cleaned out him. But I'm like, I want the ball more. And I dislike it, but I'd have disliked it probably more if like it was a foul saying that Meslier fouled him when he just wanted it more. It's one of those where what you really just want is that he just says, I'll have a drop ball here. It was a weird collision. That's what you want to happen. He's got one
one chance to see it because of second yellow, right? It doesn't get VAR in that situation.
And even that, though, like, it's one of those where it's stupid because they got the time. Like, you can't tell me he's not hearing it. You can't tell me he's gone, I've turned that off. No. You're not talking about that one. Like, he had all the time in the world on it. So as much as, like, you come on. You can't tell me fourth officials. You can't tell me that the VAR's not having a word.
It doesn't even have to be the VAR, though. I mean, the rest of it, if they're saying that it's out of scope for VAR, which is fine, let's put that aside for 1 second.
Yeah.
We were listening to Anthony Taylor on that High Performance podcast, and he says the communication happens between him and his team on the pitch, around the pitch, whether it's his assistant or the fourth official. That means he is taking advice. He's got enough time to talk to these guys and say, look, guys, what happened? I was 25 yards away. I saw this. What did you see? I saw this. What did you see? I saw this. And you get 3 angles. You obviously can't get the guy that's 50 yards behind him. Doesn't really matter. But you get at least that way. You literally have 3 angles on the pitch, and each one of those people has an opinion on what they saw happen. And they should have come to a better solution, I think.
Yeah.
But no,
I mean, like you say, he did have 3 or 4 minutes as well, didn't he?
Yeah, and he had the time to have that discussion, and that was just unique about that situation because there was an injury. Again, I mean, I don't disagree with what you said, Andy, in the sense that, if Kevin Friend takes it at face value in real time, and the keeper comes through and the striker makes contact, or there is contact, let's say, then I don't see. I can see why he's given the yellow card again, and if it's a second yellow, it's a red, and that's the end of it. But
yeah, I mean, I thought Jimenez was horrible up to that point anyway.
Horrible.
His whole performance was diabolical.
Yeah.
But I think it's amazing that, I mean, like, a striker goes off, and as you say, he's done nothing anyway, and yet it can. I don't want to say it completely changed the game, but something must have changed mentally because psychologically it changes when you've only got 10 versus their 11. And maybe that was just it.
I think it comes. I can't help but think back to calling Bruno Lage a prick a few weeks ago. But yeah, as a manager, like, when you're up against it, you just kind of know. They know as players that Bruno Lage is going to say at the end of the game that shouldn't have happened. So it's like almost it gives them an excuse.
Yeah,
it just almost does give them an excuse. The thing I think with Jesse Marsch and Andy, you see him more than anyone else, but there's something about him that reminds me a little bit of Harry Redknapp, actually. Of
really, Harry Redknapp. Okay.
Yeah,
bit of a chancer.
Not chancer, but just he's not so focused on the positions, and he's not so focused on the tactics. Side of it, as in, what I mean by tactics is a shape. He's more on a ethos of, this is how we play. This is what I want you to see you do. These are the things I expect of you. And other than that, I'll pick my best players, and I want to see the best players do the best things. And that was what Harry was about, when he came in at Tottenham following Juande Ramos, who was very much the particulars of what he'd done at Sevilla and previously. And for players, knowing just that run around a bit type thing of knowing that place of, you're a good player, I will talk very positive. I'll talk in a way that will make you feel positive about things, and I'll try and get positive results from it. Really worked. Worked. And Jesse feels like a slightly hipster version of it, where he's actually got those type of things. You can kind of hear it when he speaks. You're like, I'll go with this guy. But he's also had that studious background from the Salzburg Leipzig, Red Bull type machine, that he actually has got a lot of the real bit modern day versions of it. I can
understand that. I can understand where you're coming from. I mean, he's definitely a great speaker.
Yeah.
Ever since he's arrived at Ellen Road, you're thinking, wow, this guy can speak. I'm inspired by him, so I'm sure the players are. He's positive. He's positive all the time. He's always a half full, glass half full guy, which is like Redknapp, right? If players believe that they're the best they can be, and Jesse Marsch says that to him, then
sometimes it is literally that. Is, look, these are the sort of things I expect of you, but I don't need to tell you more about that because you're a good player, right? You're a good player, so just go show me you're a good player. And it was like, oh yeah, I am a really good player. I'll go play that. That's how Luka Modric ended up playing centre midfield. He said, look, you're the best player on the park. Everyone says you're too small, but I'm going to put you in the middle of the park because you're the best player on the pitch. Oh, guess what? You did all right out of that. people would see it almost like an insult if I said he's like that. It's not an insult. Like he there's limitations, but hey, in what you're at now as a next stage, you just want somebody that gets people to march, literally, pardon the pun. And when they got the opportunity, it really felt like you were going to go for it. It's just whether you get that first opportunity, isn't it?
I think it is. I mean, once that first goal goes in, everyone's up, right? And it's just like an onslaught, right? Okay, now we can believe. Down to 10 men. We've got this goal. We're one behind now. Didn't deserve to be. Let's forget about the first hour. Let's go for it. They might be a better team than us on paper, but we've got the spirit. We've got desire. Let's go. Yeah. And Jesse March probably does that.
Where are we going?
I mean, a bit tongue in cheek. I mean, is it nice to actually hear from your manager rather than his translator?
I don't mind the translator. I don't
loved
mind
him.
It is still sad that Bielsa's not there.
I get that, and that's not what I'm
guy.
getting at. I'm not making it sound like that at all. It's just the media must love it, though. The media must love it because they probably guess they feel like they're actually getting an answer from the straight answer.
I get it. I mean, Bielsa can talk English. He just chose not to.
Yeah.
So
Pochettino did it for years with us. Is just
it came to
everyone knew.
Levy must have just gone, no, I'm not having that. You got to speak English.
Everyone knew that he could speak it, and it was like, yeah, I'm just going to.
Do you think Bielsa just told Poch to do that?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, Bielsa told Poch when he came to England, do not speak it. Just get your translator out for ages. And it was like, how is he making this team suddenly go like Southampton were a flat team when he came in, and suddenly were like pressing like maniacs. It was like, well, you don't think he can communicate? Like, come on. It was amazing. I loved it. Villa Arsenal, we're going there?
Yeah, we're there.
Not very long on this one because
I thought Arsenal great. I thought Arsenal brilliant. Like everything about them. I thought Partey, man of the match, controlled, bossed the midfield. Odegaard, what a talent. Gets better every game.
They're a real good, solid outfit. I was really hoping that they would step up in this, despite having a couple of players.
I never believed Villa would score, to be honest.
No, felt like it could be all day. They're a really good partnership, Gabriel and White. And they're made better because Partey, is almost like a third centre-back in presence, and even Xhaka, it's just madness. But you're not going to win if they sit in, are you? Because you virtually end up with four centre-backs. Like, it was like 92nd minute. I thought it was a good header from White, and it was a header from Xhaka, like behind the line.
Yeah.
They're going to try and grind as many as they can out. So defensively, they're still a very, very good option.
I mean, worryingly for Villa, they didn't actually create any XG until after the hour mark. Literally nothing.
And even look at the shots. Nothing's big chance.
No.
I mean, was it one save from Leno, like the last kick of the game? Was that it?
Yeah, exactly that. You'd think new keeper, like who's lost his position previously, a bit rocky. You'd just expect you just had to try and bang stuff at him all day long. I just didn't put it on him. I did think to myself, Beach, like, are they done?
I didn't think that. I just thought Arsenal was so dominant in all areas of the pitch that I felt it was more about Arsenal than it was about Villa yesterday. I think that Arsenal were just improving every single game, and defensively as well. I think you can double up defensively.
Yeah,
on them.
Definitely you can.
Yeah, and I'm in agreement with you on Beach, to be honest. They're top of the bottom half, essentially, aren't they, in ninth? There's such a gap between ninth and eighth that, them and Wolves almost. So Wolves can't really go any further down. Villa can't go any further up, and they're not going to go down. Those three, Wolves, Villa, well, even Leicester, Southampton as well, those four, I think, are very much Beach territory already.
Leicester, Brentford. One thing interests.
Couple of good finishes.
Yeah, one thing interests me on Maddison was if he plays this position from here on in. So they're still trying to stick with this 4-3-3 type piece with Mendy just replaced Ndidi and Dewsbury Hall and Tillmans. So what it meant is that Maddison virtually played right midfield, right wing, you want to call it, which basically means that Tillmans is completely dead as a FPL asset, as if apart, especially because Vardy will be back soon. But when we did our like bonus pod a little while back, we talked about the fact that Maddison suddenly doesn't get any bonus anymore, like any baseline to where he's at. When he's out on the right, however, he gets loads. So he made 39 passes today, which means he gets the pass completion, over 90% passes, 4 key passes. Like, so before he even scores, 4 key passes, maximum bonus. There's 10 on his baseline just on that alone. 2 big chances created, and he scores. Like, that's a perfect bonus machine. That's like what KDP does when he that sort of position he takes up, pulling out to the right. If they keep playing that formation and he's on there, he will absolutely dominate bonus. So I was very arm in arm between Barnes and Maddison. Really was going to go there, and then changed my mind because I just didn't want to take the Salah out, and I just didn't feel there was enough on the Rafinha one. It was just too up in the air that I just thought I can't do it. So I didn't go there. Looking at it now, I think Maddison's the one I'd go to. If we see that again, I'm not going to go there in 31, so that's what I'll look out for. But if he plays on the right again, that's a good enough reason.
I mean, their fixtures are good as well. I mean, Leicester, they've got in that first double, they've got Newcastle and Everton. Good fixtures. Yeah. And then they've still got Norwich to be rearranged as well into another double somewhere. Most likely 36, 37, or could be 34, 35 if they get knocked out.
I think 36 and 37 it could be there, couldn't it? Yeah, but PSV probably will do them as well. That's the other thing. Yeah.
You'd think so, but, you know.
So you would say if you're not on any Leicester midfielder right now, you go to Maddison over Barnes?
Over what I've seen today,
yeah,
I would do the Maddison one. I just feel like he's just so much more involved. Barnes does this weird thing where he stands on the left, where he just stands about 30 yards out. I don't even see it, but sometimes I watched him do this quite a lot last season. I saw him do it quite a lot today, where you think that he's going to get in the box and drive in the box, and he doesn't. He just stands there 30 yards out, waits for the pass, does it, pushes it inside to the striker, and then doesn't come for the 1-2, just stays there. And you'll see it a lot of times if you watch like his heat map. He ends up with this like about 30 yards out, right on the wing, stands there. And it's like, well, you're not crossing from there. You're not doing anything from there. You never ever end up in kind of bonus unless he scores a lot of things. So he does what he does today, and it's never going to get there in terms of the bonus. If anything, what happens is the fullback goes past him. So that's probably even more interesting for me suddenly on him. So, yeah, I'll keep an eye on it, but not so sure.
It's still difficult. So sure. I still get worried. I just get worried about injuries for those guys because they're constantly in and out of fitness. Maddison and Barnes, lots of games. I think if they get knocked out by PSV, I think then I'd probably look to be interested because they'll actually start having some breaks between their games. Which for Leicester, I mean, they're not used to having so many of these games. So this deep into the season, in particular, so it's slightly different for them. And you know they've got other injuries as well. So if you consider like Vardy being out as well, he should be back. I think when we come back from the international break.
Yeah, I think that's what he said.
And that will make a difference. That might even make a difference how Maddison lines up as well.
Do you think you might see anyone go Vardy cap? I mean, that's 2 good fixtures.
Interesting.
In 33?
I
don't think I would. No.
You wouldn't go Vardy, Ronaldo on a free hit? You
would, wouldn't you? On a free hit, you'd have Vardy,
Ronaldo on a free hit. But did you think you get both games out of Vardy?
I don't think it's a quick turnaround, isn't it? Yeah, I don't know if I would get Vardy.
You put yourself in the hat there, don't you, really?
We might have saying on it, but I absolutely know, because I did this last season, Vardy finished his seasons better than anyone else in the league. Anyone.
Yeah, that's true.
I did the research last season. Last 10 games of the season, every season.
It's his first 10 games as well, isn't it?
He starts and ends
like ridiculous. Like we never touch him at the start of the year.
Mane actually, and normally ends seasons actually better than anyone else, but that's a completely different subject if we ever get to that point. But
Christ.
Yeah. Brentford, I mean, we both put Tony in, but realistically, as soon as I saw Eriksen was out, I was like, well, that's fucked.
Yeah, same.
No one's getting Brentford assets at all.
Yeah.
No,
Good.
and it was on the Eriksen was a big factor, and the referee appointment was also a factor for this week,
Yeah.
but it didn't quite pan out.
And we've done Tottenham, really, haven't we? Other than we've said it, about it is get Kane, get Son. We've talked about it so many times, but Tottenham score over 2 XG. So
yeah, I mean,
you want
we
those
were
players.
really comfortable today as well, just generally. Ironically, one of our mates in WhatsApp normally makes no sense whatsoever, but actually made perfect sense when he said they're not threatening and we look good on the counter, and that was exactly what happened.
Yeah,
basically.
we knew we got the chances. We would get there, but Kulu, like I know a lot of people will say, "Oh, look, oh my god, like a 6 million midfielder that didn't return in one game," like they're all immediately going to think it, but it's been massively overperforming. He still had some chances, and it's everything we've talked about. Is everyone talks about, oh, he covers him. Kulu is a right midfielder that only has a left foot that can also operate as a right wing back. That's kind of where he's at. Son is a left winger that operates as a striker.
Yeah.
Like 2 big positions. He's going to outscore him eventually. It's going to happen. That's why he costs a load more money. Can't be upset if Kulu doesn't get the amount of points that Son does. That's what's going to happen.
Yep.
But they won't have watched Kulu today. You won't have watched Kulu today and gone, that's it. I'm pulling him out for Lucas.
No, not from a performance point of view. I mean, and we've said from an FPL point of view, if you can get to Son, get to Son.
We've flogged him. He's come in 21 years old and he's basically played every game.
Yeah.
It was gonna have an off game. And then he gets a couple of weeks.
Yep. If you're wildcarding, do you think you put a Spurs defender in there?
No. No.
Okay.
What's the point? Like,
defensively today, apart from the corner, which I thought you were atrocious, where they scored, I thought defensively they did great. Romero had Antonio in his pocket all day. I thought Davis had a good game. Reg and Darcy were quite high up.
They're good. They're very, very good. But
they weren't particularly. We weren't particularly pressed apart from the first 5-10 minutes. I thought West Ham set up with a sort of a front, almost like a front 5 off the ball to start with, and then that kind of dissipated quite quickly. And then let's say the second half was, that basically they were sat back in in 2 banks of 4 or 4 and 5, and it was just very, very comfortable. There was very little pressure on the back line, and most of the game was spent at their end. So there was very little opportunity for them to create anything of any note, other than perhaps the Yarmolenko chance, which was just, I think Fornals was just tucked it through someone's legs, which, just caught Romero wrong side, and he was wide anyway. But that was about as much as they created all of the second half. I actually expected a little bit more from West Ham. However, they played 120 minutes on Thursday.
Exactly.
They're tired.
Exactly.
They didn't want to run around. Take their chances from set pieces, and
they've got a small squad. They're working hard. They're playing loads of games. Fair play.
And they're doing all right in Europe as well. So.
Yeah, exactly. But it was the thing I think is on wildcard, you're going to have Cancelo, you're going to have Trent, you're going to have probably James, and you're probably going to have Ben White. I think those 4, like in terms of the value with the 3 others. And then it's whether you want to play a 4th defender every week or not, or whether you want to just get I'd probably get like an Amati if he keeps his place, which I still think he will. I know everyone keeps thinking he'll take him out. I think Amati's their first choice centre back. That's whenever I watch them, he's their best centre back. So I understand why they would take him out. So I would probably have Amati, White, Trent, James, and Cancelo, and just roll with it forever. Therefore, I just don't think there's a place.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah.
Cool. Well, we've got a few weeks now, boys.
Yeah. What are you doing over the next couple of weeks, Andy?
I will be working hard and looking at Norwegian fantasy for 2 weeks ahead of the that kicking off April 2nd.
You love
Love
them all. As we're at the end, for anyone that doesn't do the Champman stuff, they can probably clear off now. But you will be doing Champman?
Yes, Champman every Thursday night. So 2 more of those in the international break. I think that'll be a key view. And even if you're not playing, I think Thursday night, just tune in, enjoy the stream, because it takes you back 20 years nostalgia-wise to a time when Thierry Henry and Alan Shearer were playing up top for Newcastle and Arsenal.
The knowledge.
It's done like a soccer Saturday thing as well. So
the knowledge
cool,
of Martin, Craig, and the guys that do it about that, not only about the era, but about the way the game works and everything. It's just nuts. And to be fair, I mean, as you say, it's like a soccer Saturday type thing. And you know, Jeff and all that, they have like 5 leagues going on, 5-6 leagues going on worth of fixtures. So you know, there's constantly goals going in, and there are gaps obviously for Champman. So the guys do well to fill that gap when they're only dealing with 10 fixtures. So yeah, it can be a good watch. It's good banter in the chat as well, especially when goals go in and stuff like that. So
yeah, for anyone that listens to us that doesn't know what this is, so basically during the first lockdown, very first lockdown, wasn't it? When we had the project
2 years ago,
piece.
2 years ago today, basically.
Yeah, we then Andy, Dave, and James, was it James Alford?
James Laprin,
And they set up a game of basic Championship Manager 0102 and then play it, and then they send out these spreadsheets. And we, like, Adam wasn't even on FPL Twitter at the time, you know, and I was, but he didn't know I was. And I said to him at the time, I said, I'm playing this mad game on spreadsheets where you play Championship Manager. And he was like, yeah, whatever. But didn't know anything at that time. But this pod and everything like that, I don't think any of this potentially happens if it wasn't for what you guys did. So that, you know, from my story is that opened my eye to make loads and loads of connections within the community, because we had nothing else to go to. Made a really good friend in Mr. Late Riser, Pranil, through just chatting about how we were thinking about playing a computer game, and then through like common interests of just what we thought about football in general, we're like, oh, we quite like each other, and we got on. So we started chatting, and he's been a real big contributor to this pod, and it got us into the community, many more people. So I'm like eternally grateful for it. But and even my son was just born, and he used to love on a Saturday watching James do his soccer Saturday.
I wouldn't let your son watch James on a Saturday, man. That
used to love it. There's a video. I'll tweet it before, but of him watching it, and he literally lost his mind watching him. Loved it. So yeah, tune in Thursday nights. What time? 8 o'clock.
8 o'clock till 10:30. Yeah.
We'll put a link in the tweet.
Nice one.
Yeah,
Cheers.
we'll do that.
Yeah, I mean, the community from it has been amazing. Like, everyone just loves the game. It's not as competitive as FPL. Everyone helps each other. People have formed friendships from it. You get the big guys like Late Riser was into it first time, FPL General, because there's nothing else happening. So
yeah,
it was like kept people sane during that first lockdown, because football had finished, there's no FPL, and everyone's time was just had loads of time. So people needed this, and it was great to get it going. And the community just built it up from scratch. We couldn't have done it without the community either. So
it's a mad game, and there's some mad things happen, and even just the bonus point stuff just made it such a game on steroids suddenly a bit. It's good fun. So yeah, go check it out. Other than that, we're done.
We're done. Quick admin.
Do you admin?
Admin. Cool. So guys, make sure you follow us all on Twitter. Podcast at Above Average FPL. Baker is at Baker FPL 343. And thanks to our guest this evening. Thank you, Andy, for coming along.
No worries. Pleasure to be here, guys. Thanks for having me on. So
excellent.
Maybe another day as well.
Say again?
Another time as well?
Definitely. Oh, yeah, definitely. Absolutely.
Yeah,
we'll get you back. Of course.
Maybe.
Andy is at FPL _Tactician if you don't follow him already. Yeah, I guess that's it. International break coming up. We are going to be doing something along the lines of the bonus points pod, but maybe something a little bit different. But we will look to release that in a week or so. Other than that, as we've said, in the interim, get along to Champman and have a watch, get involved with the community, and it's a good bit of fun.
Cool, boys.
Cool.
See you later.
Catch you later. Cheers, Andy. Cheers.
Nice one.